Hello there. Now, this is a bit of a broader topic than I'd usually go for. Normally I just go for a specific game to talk about, and that's usually the style that I go for. That's fine. But today I wanted to I was writing a new video because that's just how productive I am. And I was reading through some news that had come out, and I found a Game Rant bit of news, one of theirs, that is titled EA knows gamers think company is just a bunch of bad guys. Now, I am not all that into EA, I won't lie. I mean, I'm not that bothered, because if I don't want to buy their games or play them, I just don't buy them or play them. But what came to my mind was that if they're very aware that we think they're a bunch of bad guys, that's not the full thing, but that is part of it, I guess. Why don't they do something about it? You know, it's the 5th most hated company in the US, despite the fact that it has so many huge gaming hits over, a few decades. And yet they're very aware that people are just sort of losing faith and patience with them. And then they're just blaming it. They're just blaming it on us in a way. You know, they haven't sat and thought about it. Like, there was a guy, Matt Bilby, I think his name was, who works for EA's sort of strategic growth group on how to expand the company. And he sat down with an interviewer and he said this, and I quote, 25 years at EA and I still struggle with the external perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys. We love making and playing games. Unfortunately, when we make mistakes on games, the world knows about it because it's of a size and scale. Now, I understand that part of it is about the whole philanthropy of it and the idea that they're expanding out to new, smaller developers, and I get that. But that just saying that, oh, everyone knows about it when we make a mistake, yeah, that's partially true, because it happens with every gaming company. That's what making a mistake is all about. It happened with Fallout 76. Upon its release, Bethesda got a huge wave of backlash. Pokemon Sword and Shield isn't even out yet, and it's getting a huge amount of backlash from the fans. And, you know, there's so many examples of it, but most of them come down to EA. You had SimCity's Always Online DRM back in 2014 or 15 or something. You have the countless amounts of microtransactions in their games, in their mainstream games. The introduction of free-to-play in games like Mass Effect 3 and all that sort of thing. You've got the removal of key items in The Sims 4, just so you could put it as DLC and make people pay for it again. Like, they removed swimming pools and all that kind of stuff for loading times, whereas The Sims 3 has more than The Sims 4 and is cheaper. You know, a lot of it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I do think one of the main controversies to do with EA is the idea of the loot boxes and their sort of encouragement of them, which is why I'm playing Battlefront 2 at the moment. I've got that as the footage to put at the back, because it's such a it's just a manipulative way of making, especially younger people, pay money for things that help with the game. It's a lot better now, because they've improved on the Star Wars Battlefront, their original, and then Star Wars Battlefront 2. But at the start, Battlefront 2 was pretty much unplayable without giving it money. And that's not a game. That's just a constant investment. A game is not a constant investment. A game, from what I could tell, is you pay once and then you have it. It's fairly simple. It's how capitalism works to some extent, and that's not what EA have done the majority of things. They've had some bangers, like, you know, I made an entire video on Burnout 3, which was an absolute quality game. But now it's just very lazy. Like, you've got FIFA 20, that's been announced recently. It's great. It's just the same game but with a different number. Congratulations, you can count up to 20. It's not something I can go into a huge amount of detail about, because no matter what people say and what people think about it, nothing's going to happen, because EA have a plan and they know what they're doing. And it's not a good business practice for, considering you're trying to, you know, encourage people to buy your games and do that sort of stuff. And if it's the 5th most hated company in the US, what does that tell you? I mean, even recently we had Anthem, and how quickly did that, you know, there was loads of hype for it, came out. I don't know how many players it's got left, but it's not a lot. In fact, not at all. And like within the last couple of days, Apex Legends season 2 apparently it's like lost 55% of watching, like people on Twitch. No one's watching it anymore. You know, maybe EA are doing it out of desperation. We don't know, but that doesn't make it better. The whole loot box controversy is probably still going to go on with Battlefront 2. That's now a bit better. Anthem still has them, and it just seems unlikely that EA will make any major changes in the way that its games are released, and you know, not much is going to happen anytime soon. So we'll probably just have to deal with it. It's made different moves, and it's really, you know, the company is trying to give support to the gaming community, and it's trying to encourage people to buy the games. They're just being a company. That's all they're doing, but they're just doing it in a way that people have, you know, picked up on. Right, just had to get that out of the way. Now I can start writing comedy. How am I gonna? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'll find a way. See you in a few days.